And we are live. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. Back to another of our fortnightly Star Trek Adventures sessions with me, your GM, Stu Jackson, aka Stooge Action. And over in Spot's Corner, we have Commander Eelin Wraal. Ed.
Hello.
We have, over on the Ferengi Ears department, we have Matt as Lieutenant Commander Bosh.
Good evening.
Punching out Romulans cold with a single blow, we have Lieutenant Commander Lee Varren. Usher, a.k.a. B-Daddy, already at Red Alert.
Yeah.
And
hello.
Trying not to go into the warp core this week, we have Lieutenant Davok, our Vulcan science officer, Mad Mophead Amy. How are we all doing?
Hello.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, good.
Get ready to be destroyed and bring in my second character.
You're so confident, Josh.
Actually, do you have backup characters generated?
Oh,
You've
yeah,
never,
I already
haven't
do.
Sent them me.
Oh, no, it's going to be a surprise. He's maxed out on everything.
Right, okay.
I cheated.
Okay, so...
Is that the Shania way of setting a character up?
Yeah, if Lee starts casting Mad Monkeys...
I will shoot it to you. Hopefully you won't need it before the end of this episode.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I think if we're ready to crack in... actually, before we do, I think a very, very big happy birthday to Amy for tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Happy
I had no
birthday.
idea.
I meant to keep that quiet.
Oh, right, sorry. I'll edit it out. It's fine. It's not live.
No one will ever know.
Any big plans for tomorrow?
She's going to
I'm
get
not-
a cake with 25 candles on it.
Yeah, oh, that'd be nice. No, I'm not working, so that's as far as my plans go, because we're still in lockdown.
No, normal day for you then, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much doing nothing.
There's me throwing shade. Fantastic. Well, let's see if we can keep you alive long enough to celebrate your
There's a
birthday.
cake in the wall.
It's so ominous. Keep you alive long enough to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah.
And we begin, as we do so often in these episodes, with a catch-up via a log.
I like that Ed has been able to write the log in between episodes, like in between getting shot at.
It's not Ed's log.
Oh.
Chief Medical Officer's log, start date 57076.2.
Security officer is a dick.
Romulans have overrun the USS Alcubierre, a ship with an experimental warp drive that we have been sent to investigate the disappearance of. Ordinarily, when dealing with Romulans, I fall back on the rule of acquisition 34. War is good for business. However, given the state of the Alcubierre's crew, rule of acquisition 15 seems to apply more. Dead men close no deals. We found one crew member alive, although an engineering ensign who's filled us in with many details regarding the invading force, and intriguingly, that the warbird that was called away into a Klingon station, leaving the troops on board for some reason. He didn't ask anything in return for this, which concerns Rule of Acquisition 218, which does state, sometimes what you get for free costs you entirely too much. My associates are proving quite capable, even if they don't show any signs of having the lobes for business. Commander Wraal is proving very capable, showing the truth of Rule 58 that there's no substitute for success. Our security officer, Varren, is a fairly unusual human. He shows great aptitude for violence, but he also seems increasingly regret it. He definitely is definitely applying Rule 33, though, where our commander is concerned. It never hurts to suck up to the boss. He's managed to acquire an interesting knife from one of the Romulans he dispatched. It looks quite ornate and is probably worth a few strips of latinum. Wasted on Lears, he seems to see the value of anything but the price of nothing. As for our science officer Davok, what else is there but to quote Rule 79? Beware of the Vulcan's greed for knowledge. We're currently making our way back to the shuttle bay, avoiding main engineering, which is where we believe most of the remaining Romulans are, which suits me, for Rule 23 says nothing is more important than your health, except for your money. My associates have just taken care of a Centurion and an Ulan, and we approach the entrance to the shuttle bay.
God, you must be a blast at parties.
Excellent knowledge of the rules of acquisition displayed there. Thank you for that. So yes, as Chief Medical Officer Bosh stated in his log, you are heading back towards the shuttle bay with the intention of getting back to the Livingston with the young ensign in tow, young Derek Stolman. And yeah, you've just Lee Varren and Eelin Wraal, you have just come out of a Jeffries tube and shot an Ulan and what rank was the other one? A Centurion.
Centurion? No less.
I just said that. Didn't you listen to the log?
I did. It's in case anybody else missed it.
There's a time delay back to the Livingston.
Yeah.
He's hearing it in a moment.
It's that subspace interference that we've been dealing with this whole time.
Well, hopefully we're not looping on the sound tonight. That would be a nightmare.
Kat's said that she hasn't said anything. It seems like she can hear us just fine.
I'm sure she would say if it were the case. So the big question is then, what would you like to do?
It's me against a wall. I know I'm standing out against the far wall. That way, Eelin Wraal can come out. I didn't want to mix up wall and Wraal. How many? I forget what it's been 2 weeks since I played this.
I think all the Romulans are down.
Yes.
We took out the...
How much momentum do we currently have?
You carried over 2 momentum from last week.
Okay, and was that after the end of scene when we killed the Romulans?
It was. So you actually ended... Yes, 2. Yes, sorry.
Ended the
2.
scene 3, but then we start with 2? Because you lose 1 after a scene?
You haven't started scene 3.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You're still in scene 2.
Well, I want to get out of the Jeffries tube. Now that the shooting's stopped.
I'm gonna kick the door shut.
How terribly rude. Right, well, now the corridor's clear. Everyone out of the tube and into the corridor.
All right.
Okay.
Stunned.
They are. They're both stunned.
Yeah, they're stunned. And in which case, I'm going to go disarm all of them and take all of the weapons hidden on them, if there are any.
Okay, you acquire 2 more disrupt pistols and 2 more knives similar to the one you've already got.
Right. You need a bag for your collection of disruptor pistols at this rate.
At this point, I just want to keep them from having it. You can destroy them with a phaser or anything you decide.
Give me one of the knives and the disruptors.
Yeah.
I'm going to pocket those.
If you get a knife and a disruptor, I'll give another knife to either Amy or Wraal. And at that point,
I'm okay for a knife, thank you.
I don't want to go against code, but I would just hang on to the disruptor just to have it. I will still use phasers.
Well, we did say that the first one that you picked up has got your little name tag on it when we get back to the ship. So,
I gave it to you, though.
Yeah, it's tagged up. That's yours when we get home.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not, you're not walking around with, 3 disruptors and 4 knives and all this other stuff when we get out of there.
Like some sort of Orion Bandito festooned with pistols. No, thank you.
You're in a sheer jumpsuit. There's no pockets.
Yeah.
Lots of Velcro. Right, so we're out of the Jeffrey tube. We've disarmed them. We're heading towards the shuttle bay, aren't we? So let's proceed to the shuttle bay. But cautiously, Varren and I will take point, actually, if we're on wider corridors. Obviously, checking on side corridors and stuff as we go past, I think, would be wise.
Yeah.
While we know that most of them are in engineering, we don't want to get caught out.
And Eric is with us?
Derek.
I know his name. I'm calling him Eric.
Derek is coming along.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now, yes, you can go two abreast down the corridor. There aren't any side chutes. There's a couple of doors to, a hydroponics bay and a storage cupboard where they keep the mops and buckets. But really, there aren't any offshoot corridors, except the corridor takes a sharp turn to the left with the doors to the shuttle bay directly ahead of you.
Oh, good, doors. I've got just the man for this job.
Well, the door's actually still open from where you left it last time.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Thank God.
It was a few weeks ago, but it's still partially damaged from where he bludgeoned his way through in the first episode.
I might be mean, but I'm not. Well, no, I might be that mean. Let's see.
Fantastic. Right. Okay. We check the shuttle bay visually and then move in. Hopefully, our shuttlecraft is still there.
Okay, you walk into the shuttle bay, and yes, your shuttlecraft is still there. The Alcubierre shuttle is still there as well.
Excellent. Is there anything? Would we notice anything about the Alcubierre shuttle that would give us any further clues before we leave? I think we said when we arrived, it looked like it hadn't been used.
It's been used. It doesn't look like it's been used recently. It's
okay.
It's stowed rather than parked, if that makes sense.
Commander.
Yes, Mr. Varren.
Given the fact that we still want to figure out what's going on with all the Romulans, is it worth it to sabotage the Alcubierre shuttle before we leave so they cannot leave the ship?
My thinking is to get Davok maybe could use his computer skills and put some sort of code lock on that shuttle so that no one can just come in and use it. So yeah, we don't want.
You can also just disrupt or fire all of the controls.
We're here not to damage Starfleet property, Mr. Varren. We may need to actually use this ship and the shuttle involved.
Well, they've already disrupted all the controls on the ship. I don't think we're going to be using the ship.
Very well. If that's what in that case, go ahead. Go and disrupt the main control panel in the shuttle that belongs to the Alcubierre.
Yes.
Not shuttlecraft. That's mine. I don't want it damaged.
Also,
I signed it out. Captain Liera is going to go ballistic if I bring it back with a scratch on it.
Absolutely. In which case, Stu, if possible, I would go into the other shuttle and just destroy all of the... Do it from outside, like open the doors, but stay on the platform so I don't ruin all of it and then the doors shut on me. I don't want to have another door situation.
Okay, I understand. Give me a...
Ooh,
rolling.
All right, let me find it. Here's my stuff. Is there
it's going to be a little bit different, this one. Give me an insight and engineering roll. Difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2?
Difficulty 2.
Okay. 9. So I have to roll below a 12. Is there any way I can use a momentum to buy a extra dice?
We can give you one for that. Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
Because 12 is relatively low.
Always happy to take momentum off you.
That's one fail. Shit. Well, that's 2 fails.
Oh, good.
And 1 success. So only 1 success.
You recognise that it's a shuttle.
Yeah. Well, there is.
I was able to shoot the shuttle, just not the control panel.
There is a thing you can do in this game, which is succeed at cost. So you can still succeed, but you generate extra threat for me to use.
That's up to our commander and the rest of the crew at this point.
Yeah,
I feel like succeeding at cost may hurt our shuttle. It could be like a monkey's paw, like you kill it and like you destroy the shuttle, but also your own shuttle.
Okay, well, yeah, I think in that case we'll just leave it as that. If you just report back to me that you've done your best, I'll say nothing else.
So you got 1 success, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
So I can tell you have damaged controls on it.
Okay.
Now, whether you've
Right.
damaged them irreparably, whether
It's something. It's
yeah, you have certainly damaged some controls.
Yeah, they
it'd
can't
be
simply
enough,
walk.
and I doubt they're going to be able to fly away in a shuttle with our ship not being able to catch them. So
Can Davok go up and just fiddle with a bit of wire and shut the whole thing down?
Okay, when you say fiddle with a bit of wire,
Just go like, I'll just do
That
this
sounds very
and this,
scientific, Mr. Davok.
and then disrupt the sensor array with the what's it thingy?
a disruptor.
Right. Yeah. I basically want to fiddle with the wiring to stop it from working.
so there are. I'm going to say there's 3 technical options open to you here. One is to basically disrupt the computer programming for any of its systems that you decide to target. You can try and disrupt or delete the entire computer programming for the shuttle, or, here's where your sort of computer knowledge would come in handy, you can put an encrypted lockout on it so that you can access it in the future, but it's highly unlikely that anybody else could.
Oh, yeah, that seems like a thing I would do. So I will have a go at that.
Okay, give me a... Oh, now how quickly do you want to do it?
How long do you reckon we have, Commander?
Well, we're heading back, aren't we? So let's not dawdle with it.
Yeah,
Let's
we
get
don't
on.
know how many Romulans there are. And as we say that, I'd like to keep a phaser out and pointed at the door, ready for somebody. Have we closed the door that we came in through?
Nope, the door is still wide open as you left it.
I'm not going to fuck with it. We're just going to leave it open. Just going to point my phaser through.
You can train
Just
your
doors,
phaser
do
on
you?
it in preparation, absolutely.
So might it be worth prepping our shuttle for launch?
Yes. Well, as I'm the pilot there, whilst you're doing that, Mr. Davok, I'll go and prep shuttlecraft peak for departure.
Okay.
I'll
Mr. Bosh, you come with me.
okay, sir.
So,
If anyone is to survive, we need you.
Come with me if you want to live. That's...
what I shall need you to do then, Wraal, is make a reason and Conn task, difficulty 1, with assistance from the shuttle's computers. To plot your course and prep the shuttle for takeoff. While that's happening, Davok, if you're taking your time over this, you're not doing a rush job, is that right?
Yes, however long it takes to get the shuttle prepared. I'll try and time it.
Give me a control and engineering difficulty 2.
Okay. And we got 2 successes.
Okay, fantastic.
Nice.
And whilst
locked
preparing
out
our
the
own
shuttle.
shuttle, I rolled a 10 and a 1.
Oh, which gives you 2 bonuses. So, that's 2 successes, isn't it? So you get 2 momentum. Fantastic. So
You have to roll to pilot our shuttle. Oh, to turn it on.
to basically navigate it, to plot the course, to set it all up.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense.
Yeah. There's a different one for actually piloting it. This
Every
one
time
is
you
for-
turn the key, it's a gamble.
Yes, it is. Because what if you plotted the wrong course? What if you took off left instead of backwards
What?
and ploughed into
Just
the
thinking,
wall?
like,
Wow.
our
Shuttle
ship's
bay?
right there. Like, it should be able to, like, we're right there in the middle of nowhere, and there's only one other ship to go to. I hope he can plot it correctly.
It's not. To be fair, it's not a difficult thing, and a difficulty 2 task with assistance from the computer is shouldn't be for a Conn operator. That shouldn't be difficult. But yeah, but there is always the possibility of failure, and it gives you the momentum. I could have hand waved it, but then you wouldn't have got the momentum, you see.
That's fair.
So I'm being generous because I knew you were low on it.
And you probably got a bunch of threat now.
No.
Well, he starts
didn't
off
get
the
any
game
threat.
with like 6 threat or so.
8.
8.
I start off with 2 per player. And I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Oh,
Because
sorry.
Motherfucker.
No,
Do it.
so,
I always do it.
so Davok, yes, you feel very confident that you have locked out the controls of Alcubierre's shuttle, and just as you are finishing up your pre-flight checks, there, Commander Wraal, Derek comes rushing up to you. Says, Commander, we've got a problem.
What is it, Derek?
Well, I obviously locked out as many controls as I could, and I was able to open the shuttle bay doors for you from stellar cartography. But the problem is I have brought my pad with me, but the Romulans, they're locking down more and more of the systems. I can't access the controls to release the shuttle bay doors.
Great. Right.
Eric, you are useless.
That's
Is
not
there
my
any way-
fault.
Okay, enough. Derek, is there any way that you can access the shuttle bay door controls from the computer systems on board this shuttle?
No,
As it's come in,
unfortunately
it should have its sort of landing tracking system should be able to reverse it and basically will instrument landing system out the way we came in.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, I had to manually open the doors for you as you approached. You'll remember that.
Yes. Is there a manual opening to the shuttle bay doors in the shuttle bay?
Well, yes, but it's all been rerouted to main engineering. That's the problem.
Okay.
Is there an emergency actual physical switch to open it? On the off chance that computer systems are down, there's got to be an emergency exit for a shuttle bay.
Somewhere in the warp core, maybe? Davok?
Yeah, that might
Don't
be.
tempt me.
There's nothing in the warp core.
Derek looks over
And
the
death.
big 3-story high, several buses wide shuttle bay doors, looks back at you and says, "No, but well done for thinking of it."
We can't physically pull those apart.
Have they rerouted environmental controls yet?
Not that I could tell, no.
Is there a way to access those controls in here?
I
Well-
can have a look.
Okay, so Davok.
Commander, requesting permission to shove Derek in another Jeffries tube and leave him there. Especially
Derek,
when we open the
You and Mr.
shuttle bay
Varren are sitting on
doors
the
and we
seats on the
vent
opposite
the.
side of the shuttle. Okay, you are not sitting next to each other.
He's going to sit outside the shuttle, Commander.
Davok, give me an insight and engineering check, please. You've got a value that relates to computers, don't you?
I have a computer focus, yeah.
Excellent. So any dice that's under your engineering skill counts as 2 successes.
I rolled a 1.
Oh, that's 2 successes right there.
2 successes.
I never said how difficult this would be, did I? It is a difficulty 2.
Okay.
So any other successes you get are all momentum.
Cool. And I got another success, so 3 total.
3 total. So you gain another success, another momentum. Nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious to you that most of the systems are being rerouted currently to main engineering. Environmental controls is one of them that already has been.
Yeah, already there.
Okay, right. Based on the fact we've got some momentum back now, I think we'll use a momentum spend for gain information. And we will just use that to actually ask the GM and say, right, how do we get the shuttle bay doors open?
We have to go deal with more Romulans.
Okay.
Without me actually powering up the phasers on the shuttle and blowing a hole through them.
But
I mean,
funnily enough, there are 2 options open to you. That is one of them. In all seriousness, blowing your way out of the ship is an option. Not a good one for so many different reasons. But, I mean, so just to be clear, in doing that, there is the possibility that if you hit an EPS conduit or a plasma source or anything like that, you could actually blow up your own shuttle in the process.
Oh, bad.
So
TPK, not an idea.
Possible, but probably not recommended. But I'm not making decisions for you. The other option would be to go to main engineering and regain control of the systems from there.
Oh my god!
All right.
That may be our option. Yeah, because we could blast our way out of here with the guns, but I'm not putting in the log why we didn't get back to the Livingston because we're in bits in the shuttle bay. But bad enough that we've broken one shuttle already today, but two, that's going to look careless. So, I think we're going to have to do whatever we can. We're still going to have to come back here to get out, fundamentally. So, let's do all we can to secure. So, we've secured the other shuttle. Just on the off chance, Davok, can you put a similar code into our shuttle so that it also cannot be taken? But Mr. Varren, don't be trying to damage this shuttle as well. I just want Davok to basically lock this shuttle and take the key.
Out of game. How long does a stun from a phaser last?
That's a very
is it like
question.
being knocked unconscious? Can you wake them up with a slap on the face or throw some water in their face?
It's not as simple as a slap in the face, but there is some very simple medication that will revive them.
So, just reminding everyone that we have stunned all these Romulans, and every single one of them is still alive and possibly waiting for us back in engineering. It's not like we handcuffed them all and threw them all in a broom closet, which we welded shut afterwards. They're all possibly going to come at us again. Just saying, it's going to be an issue once we deal with them all over again, back in engineering again.
Do you know what? I was wondering what to spend my threat on.
What's that?
I was wondering what to spend all my threat on.
Just occurring to me that without completely incapacitating them, we're basically just creating... exactly, Chris. We're just creating a situation for ourselves to where it's just going to be even more difficult when we go... The longer we stay on this ship without leaving, the more difficult it's going to get, is all I'm saying, Commander.
Once we get into engineering, if we can barricade ourselves in there, we can incapacitate the rest of the ship quite easily.
Can I bring a map to see how many entrances and exits there are to engineering?
Where are you? So you can just look around you to see the entrance and exits.
Not into main engineering because we're in the shuttle bay.
Oh, sorry. Oh, where are you accessing?
All right, Derek, you'll get it there in the end.
Where are you accessing a map from?
Did we download maps?
Yeah, on the way over, we've got schematics.
all downloaded
that's why we're able
maps.
to get to the bridge relatively easily and make our way around the ship.
I thought we specifically talked about this when we picked up Derek.
You had looked at maps on the way over for the layout of the ship, but you had not downloaded them into your tricorders.
Good.
Did we talk about that specifically last game?
Yeah, we said that next time we'd have to remember to download them.
Cost you a momentum to download them, just so you're aware. but you have to be
That
upright.
Okay, well, if we can spend a momentum and get a little bit more information, let's do that.
That's
We've got a bit back
why
thanks
I'm
to
asking.
How much momentum did we have?
At the moment, you have 3.
Oh, 2.
We could spend 3 momentum and blow holes in the door. Just saying.
Oh, tempting me to this, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Go on, let's do it. Let's do it then. Let's shoot our way out and get out of here because, as you say, we could be here all day.
Yeah, I mean, we've already been here for 3 games. We could be here for like 6 games.
Okay, fine. Let's get in the shuttle and let's target the bits that we need with the shuttle's weapons.
This could be the shortest game ever.
Right. Who is operating the weapons first of all?
Guess it would be me.
May I suggest before we start firing anything that we see if we maybe spend the momentum to have a look at blueprints so we try and avoid the critical weak spots.
Yes,
on the
find
door.
exactly any weak point on the door that we need to get out.
We're also going to need the momentum for successes because it's going to be a level 3.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, let's spend one to find out where we need to hit it,
Okay.
or specifically where we don't want to hit it.
Yeah.
Okay, Davok, where are you getting that information from?
Wherever I can.
There is a computer in the hangar control area.
Yeah, let's go over there.
Okay, which you're going to, and is locked out.
Because Derek locked it out.
Derek hasn't locked it out. It's been rerouted to main engineering.
Yeah.
You'll be shooting blind.
Really? Okay. I don't really want to. If we had the information that we could give a educated shot, I'd be tempted to do it. In that case, I'm thinking we probably have to go and fight our way through engineering to actually get this ship back.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, there are other computers around you. Shuttle computers are independent.
Bosh is constantly 288, 288, 288, 288.
The one about firing the staff, isn't it?
No, it's the never get into anything you can't get out of.
Like Starfleet?
Well, if we couldn't have taken a joke, we shouldn't have signed up.
I can
We
try
use the shuttle computer.
Yeah.
Presumably, are you talking about the Alcubierre shuttle?
How many shuttles are there? Is it just ours and theirs?
Yes.
Okay, the other one then, because we won't have it.
I'm going to wander out to these stunned Romulans while this is happening and just make sure they're still there.
They are back out in the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going back out on your own?
Yep.
No, I'll go with them.
Okay. Right. As we
leave, it'd be like, you better get this fucking door shut open. Pardon my language, Commander, but if they are not here, we really need to leave.
Because you can, Mr. Davok. Mr. Varren is getting cabin fever.
As the two of you leave the shuttle bay and we split the party, Davok, I need a control and engineering difficulty 1 roll from you, please.
The hell have you gotten us into, Bosh?
Did I get my computer focus for this as well?
You do get your computer focus. This is to unlock the computer that you've just locked.
Okay. I did get a 2, so that's 2 successes.
Okay, fantastic. So you get an extra piece of momentum. Yes, you have unlocked the computer. Now, to access the schematics that you need, you think you're not sure if the shuttle computer would hold such information. If it did, it's going to be pretty well buried, and you might even need to try and reroute it and tap into the Alcubierre's own computer system. This is going to require, and I'm assuming you're taking your time over it, please tell me if not, This is going to require a control and engineering difficulty 4.
Okay. Well, I can roll 3 dice.
Oh, can you?
Do I get to roll an extra dice because my computer focus?
No, you build that up based on what's helping you. So if the computer was assisting you, you might get a dice on that, but otherwise you have to buy it with momentum or threat.
Yeah.
Or you could use your determination and get an automatic dice that scores a 1.
Cool. Okay. Sorry, I've
That's
just
what I was
lost a
gonna use.
dice.
I'm blowing my way out of there. This is my determination dice.
Okay. So I can start rolling first, and we can see what we need. Yeah.
You need to build the bank of dice before we roll it to see if we get any successes.
So you can use point of determination, which will give you 2 successes.
Yeah.
And then you can buy one with momentum, which will still let you roll 3 dice.
3 dice,
Okay.
yeah, and you'll have another dice that's automatically a 1.
Okay.
So you'll have to get 2 successes of your dice.
So you're buying you're spending a momentum, are you?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm rolling 3 dice total, but I've already got 1 success for my point of determination.
Well, you've got
successes.
you've got a dice that's scored a 1.
Okay. I got a 4. My engineering's 4. Does that count as 2?
And that's
And
4.
No, it has
If
to
it's
be under your.
No, it's equal to or under.
Oh, is it equal to? I stand corrected then.
If there's an applicable focus, which is Games Master's prerogative.
No,
I got 4
that's
successes total.
4 successes total. I said difficulty 4, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, you managed to get the schematics, which you are able to download into your tricorder. Analysing the schematics, you realise that there are power conduits running all the way around the doors. It is going to be extraordinarily difficult to blow a big enough, because it's not just a matter of blowing a hole in the door, it's about blowing a big enough hole for the shuttle to fit through. I'm going to give it you in kind of game mechanical terms. You reckon this is a difficulty 6 task?
We don't have the determination, the dice, or the momentum to buy enough dice to make that even vaguely possible in the mechanics of this game.
So the point is that it wasn't an option. It's really what it comes down to. We only had one option.
You have 3 momentum.
We've explored as Starfleet officers, we've explored the options, and basically difficulty 6 is difficulty 5 is basically as difficult as you can get it.
Yeah.
You can only roll 5 dice in your pool of dice.
Yeah,
you can't
I
roll
get
more
it.
than
5. I'm aware. So going to engineering.
Just before we leave this idea alone, as there's a bunch of power conduits in there, is there some way of creating some sort of power surge to rush through there and causing some sort of chain reaction that will blow it all up that way?
I like Vulcan thinking. It always comes up with something.
Yeah. So taking a moment to analyse the schematics and looking at where these power systems are flying, you do believe you could set off an explosion within the power relays without too much difficulty. You might need someone with a bit of sort of engineering experience to assist you, but you do believe it could be rerouted. However, you also believe it's going to take half the shuttle bay with it.
Yeah, I'd like us to leave here without being explosively ejected into space. That would be.
I've run out of ideas. That was
idea. No, that's a very Trek thing to do, isn't it? We've gone through every option, and we've definitely explored every possibility of that. I think that's a bit of a bust, that one. Despite Mr. Varren's eagerness to test his arm with shuttle phasers against a solid geranium door. Filled with explosive power conduits and explodium. This is a Utopia Planitia build. It's all made of explodium.
Almost as rare as unobtainium.
Unobtainium. Right. Thank you, Mr. Davok. That has been excellent work. But I think based on your particular insight into our problem, we need to go to engineering and actually take control of these doors and get them open. I take it you'd agree with that as well, Derek?
No, I'm just here to do whatever you tell me, sir.
He's the only one here from the engineering department. Chief engineer is still on board the Livingston. Right, yes, Derek, stick with us. We're going to engineering. We're going to take back computer control from there and get those doors open. There's nowhere else on this ship we can get those doors open, is there, Derek, to the best of your knowledge?
Not that I can think of now, because they've rerouted so many systems now to main engineering.
They're keeping everything to themselves where they are in main engineering, aren't they?
Yes,
A very Romulan thing to do.
Yes, they taught us at the academy. That's a very it's a tactic of theirs to sort of establish a small base of operations and have everything running from there.
Okay, in that case, I think with our security and Black Ops warfare expert, Mr. Varren, we may need to come up with something cunning to basically raid engineering and get back control of those doors so we can
that's all I've been thinking about. But I have a question. Have Bosh and I walked outside of their view range at this point?
I'm so glad you asked that, because yes, when you went through the doors, whilst all this has been happening, Bosh and Varren, who's leading, by the way?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as we went out of their viewpoint from where they can see, I definitely swapped to a disruptor and not a phaser.
Fair enough.
the moment my back turned.
Yes. I mean, you won't be able to tell who did what. If we have the medical thing, he'll just be like, yeah, they shot themselves.
That's completely fair. I can't.
So this is a corridor without any turns, but it does sweep gently round to the left. And you know that the bodies are just round to the left. And indeed, as you get up and approach, the bodies are gone.
Bosh, might I suggest we not try to break rules too much. However, you do have a disruptor on you, and I really don't want to bump into more missing bodies.
I think I agree with you.
Okay, understood.
So,
And then I will follow Bosh wherever he decides he's going at this point. I assume he has an idea, but I don't really... At this point, with everything that's going on out there, we only really have one place to go, so...
yeah, well, we're going to back up and report this back to
okay.
Varren. Sorry, Wraal.
Wraal.
Yeah, so we're gonna just back up, still keeping an eye. Just back up towards the shuttle bay.
Once we're within earshot of the shuttle bay, but Commander.
Yes. Are those Romulans still in the corridor?
No, sir.
Absolutely not, Commander.
How utterly predictable. Right, so... Okay, everyone. We're heading for main engineering. Phasers out. Phasers set to stun.
So...
Where are those disruptors? Why are you carrying disruptors?
We just picked them up from
the bodies that were missing?
Yes, sir.
Praise you to speak freely, Commander.
Always, Mr. Varren. I value your opinion, as you know.
The stun doesn't work for shit if they're just going to get up and walk away. But alas, and he puts his disruptor down and grabs his phaser.
How long since we left them has it been?
As a Vulcan, you would estimate it's been about 8 minutes and 17 seconds.
Oh my god, they're useless.
So if it's been 8 minutes and 17 seconds, surely they've had assistance to get back up in such a short period of time. We should be aware of that.
That was my point.
You think something's prowling around here?
I think and then you got to remember they took the one that we stunned into the Jeffries tube, and they got away, so that one's definitely awake. I mean, if we're not completely incapacitating these people and piling them up and throwing them out an airlock, then we're going to fight them all over and over again until we stun every single one of them.
Well, we only ever need to stun them enough to get away from them or achieve what it is we need to do. So we can stun enough.
Which includes fighting all of them in the engineering department and then them waking up by the time we get back to the shuttle to lock down the doors again.
Right. If they're all in the engineering department, there may well be some way. There are definitely gases, and Mr. Bosh will be able to tell us this.
Anethrazine, sir.
Yes, which affect Romulan physiology.
Oh, that affects everyone's physiology, sir.
Oh, excellent.
It's not helpful. I was going to suggest fire extinguishers, but we're in the 24th.
Romulans laugh themselves half to death, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is.
There aren't any such thing as like fire extinguishers in this world, are there? Like portable, high pressurized canisters.
No, the way the fire suppression systems on starships work is they create a small force field around the fire, allowing it to burn out its own oxygen and put itself out.
So sick of over-engineered crap.
You built them.
I didn't build war engines. I built starships. Here's an answer, or not an answer. Here's a question. In a starship, because I am completely Star Trek illiterate, are there pressurized canisters of anything? Like, because
yes,
we don't
quite often.
Okay, is there one that I could ask Davok, Bosh, or Wraal in an area that we could get before we get to engineering? Get a few of them. Because if they're all in engineering, we don't need something. We need grenades, essentially, is what we need. We need something to be able to throw in there, shoot, and it explode on top of everybody. Because charging phasers, I mean, it's going to run, and they're going to end up in another. Well, the problem with the gassing them is that it affects
there's a way
everybody.
we can trap them in there. Well, they've trapped themselves in there. There's a way we can just hack something and anethrazine gas them. Then all we need to do is walk in, reroute and lock out the computer so we can get out, and basically walk back to the shuttle and Junior Birdman back to the Livingston.
And we can
I
lock
just don't
them
think
into
anything in
engines.
this game is going to work that easily. Realistically.
You think this is a game?
Yes. It's a war game.
It's a heck of a simulation for the Academy.
Derek is looking very much like he wants to interject on this conversation, but of course everyone outranks him, and he's sort of like doing that hopping from one foot to another.
In that case, I'll do what some of the first officers frequently do in this scenario, which is, gentlemen, suggestions. Derek, you first.
Well, sir, I mean, obviously you'd know that, like most starships, that there is a brig on board the Alcubierre. But if you're worried about transporting the Romulans to the brig, well, in engineering, there's some really heavy-duty force fields. Of course, you know, in case of, like, plasma leaks and what have you. I'm sure we could reconfigure them to create a sort of temporary brig.
So basically turn engineering into its own brig.
Well, I wouldn't recommend leaving them sort of just anywhere in engineering, because, of course, they've got access to most of the computers, so they'd probably override it really easily. But if you could get them in a small section...
You could box them into a corner away from anywhere that was particularly vital, couldn't you?
Yeah, there's a closet in engineering, for example. We could use that, or, you know...
And you think that the control could we use the controls in the brig to do that? Basically, the security force fields ship-wide.
No, sir. It would need to be in engineering that we would need to do that to control the engineering force fields. I would have suggested the bridge, but from what you've said, the bridge is in no condition to do it from there.
There's not much left of the bridge from last week when we were in there. Okay, so yeah, essentially we don't need to knock out all the Romulans as long as we can get in there. Derek, if we get you into the engineering section, can you get a force field up to snare all the Romulans in one area?
He gulps very deeply, and you see his Adam's apple bobbing about. He says, permission to speak candidly, sir?
Absolutely, Derek, but remember, this is not the academy. This is the real Starfleet. This is where you have to do the best you can with what little they told you there.
Well, I'll certainly try my best, but it would be a lot easier if you did manage to incapacitate them or stun them, or beforehand. Now, to be honest, I'm only an ensign, sir. This is a bit above my pay grade, really.
Derek, is there a weapons locker
nervously
on this ship?
Yes, sir, but I believe, well, if the Romulans haven't found them all, yes, there's a few.
Are there any of the lockers with breathing equipment in this shuttle bay?
There you go. That's the...
Yes, we keep them. We keep breathing apparatus in the hangar bay control room.
Okay. I
I'll
want to
follow Bosh in there.
Yeah, go and try and get 5 sets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And extra canisters if possible. I've played enough barotrauma to know that we're going to need extra oxygen tanks. Yeah.
By the way, there's probably a Pavlovian thing. Every time I go and reach for something, I'm actually getting a threat momentum, just so you know.
I get it, Stu, but we only have one option to get out of here, so take all the threat you want, and I'm just going to start killing folks and then use my new character. So it's fine.
Yes,
we're taking it off this ship. Or at least they are.
You find 3 working breathing apparatus.
All right. Davok, Bosh, and Wraal. Take the apparatus.
That might be all we need for this. Okay. In that case, is there between us all a way that we can get to engineering, either hack the system and flood it with gas, then we can go in with breathing apparatus and give one to Derek, and maybe Davok and Derek between them can pin the Romulans in with a force field and unlock the shuttle bay door so we can get out of here, and we just leave. Or if we can't anaesthetize them, we may have to burst in, whap a few with phasers. Remember, we've got our widespread settings, which can hit multiple targets at the same time. Once they're stunned, get them in the Derek cage, and then head out.
Question, Bosh, and Davok for this matter. And Commander Wraal, worst case scenario, Bosh, is there a gas that's flammable that we can lock in that room?
Yes.
I said worst case scenario, Commander. I'm not planning on doing it, but I want a backup plan in case this plan does not work.
That I would know because I've got to focus in medicines and chemicals.
Okay, we'll just pretend you know it. But...
With your focus in medicines and chemicals, one thing you would know, if Varren, and this is me saying this to Bosh, not to Varren, but if Varren is looking for a doomsday option, then the plasma coolant canisters liquefy organic material on contact.
Of course, yes.
Mm-hmm. And they're all over the place in main engineering.
Yeah.
There are 2 adjacent to the warp core.
I'm not going to the warp core. I've already been numbered with Derek.
I put an arm around Davok and say, we're going nowhere near the warp core straight away.
I'll just take a step away.
I mean, that's good enough for me. That's all I want to know. Let's go to engineering.
Let's head there, and then let's assess the situation when we get nearer to engineering.
Are there windows in the hallway from engineering? Like, is it a room that has windows to the outside, or is it just a room to itself?
Usually it's also, it's like a sealed room in case of fire, flood, plasma coolant leaks, and all the other horrible stuff that can go wrong in an engine room.
There might be plasma coolant leaks.
Oh, there might. Accidents do happen. This is space.
Yeah, I just grabbed the wrong phaser.
Oh dear, again. Okay, let's head out towards engineering. We'll put myself and Mr. Varren out front, on point as it were. Davok and Bosh bring up the rear. Derek, you're in the middle. Phasers out, set to stun. Keep your eyes peeled and listen out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so what was that? Sorry, sir, I didn't hear you. No, I'm joking.
Derek falls over a bucket in the corridor. Clang.
Okay, and which way are you approaching engineering from?
Most direct. Quickest.
Okay, the quickest would be via the turbo lifts.
Which we don't have control of. Yeah.
What about Commander and
Jeffrey's tube time?
Davok? If we use Jeffrey's tube, is there a way to come in through engineering from above?
Up onto the higher level, yeah.
So, Davok, when you were getting the schematics for the doors, you did also get a copy of the layout.
Yeah.
So, looking at your tricorder and looking at the map, the Jeffrey's tubes won't really help because they're all on a single level. You believe that the best way of approaching will be down the turbo lift shaft manually and through main engineering doors. Because of the power conduits and the basically because it's such a dangerous place, main engineering does tend to be a bit more sealed off from the rest of the ship.
God, I have such a long email to write to Starfleet about how they design their ships in the case of an emergency or like battery failure. Because if there's like a battery failure in these things, it's just one giant death trap. Manual ways to open doors, ways to get between buildings. It's just awful.
So we're basically heading down the ladder system that's inside the turbolift shaft, I take it.
Yes.
Yes.
Then that's the way we shall go.
Okay, and on that note, that's probably a good place for a quick break. So let's take 6 minutes, because that's what the timer's set for on the loading page. See you all in a moment.
Alrighty.
A poison used by the Romulan military.
No.
And we are live.
I want to use knives and weapons.
and what about in game?
Yes.
Mr. Varren's desperate for a reposting to the Klingon Empire as soon as possible.
I'm desperate for a way to get back on our ship and off of this ship, and I'm worried that we can continue stunning people, and they're just going to wake back up again.
We can fix that, Varren.
Right.
It's done.
So we bring ourselves back into the game just after you've formulated a plan to go to engineering, I believe, via the turbo shaft.
As we're walking to the turbo shaft, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask Bosh something that we talked about off screen, but it occurs to me now that it's probably a good thing. So. We talked about gases that would anesthetize them. Is there something that would anesthetize Romulans specifically that would be on a ship?
Yes, Neurazine.
Neurazine.
Is particularly Romulans are particularly susceptible to.
Which would possibly also make Davok susceptible as well, right?
Yes, I believe so. They
Davok
share.
gets one of the masters. Yeah, basically their physiology is practically identical. It's just their ethos that's a bit different.
I like Vulcans better.
So,
Let's say that. Well, we do have masks, and I believe Davok has a mask. If it's
Yes.
possible to trigger that specific chemical, I don't know how we'll do it. We'll have to see that when we get there. I guess we should worry about getting down this tunnel first.
Yeah, to be clear, our strategy will be to take non-violent control of this ship if we can. If that means knocking them all out and making sure that Davok has a mask on so that he isn't unconscious, we're doing that first.
Can I just check something that I would know? The gases, can they be replicated and dispersed, or would I have to get canisters of it from medical?
The latter, very much so. So especially at the moment, you're not sure if it could be replicated anyway, in the quantities you would require, but the replicators are all down anyway. You do know that the medical bay would typically keep quantities of it.
So I need to make a detour via medical.
Okay, well, we'll head to medical then at your suggestion, Mr. Bosh, if there's something that we can use there. I think that basically via the turbo lift shaft still, it's going to be a question of just stopping at one level and going along sideways instead of further down.
Where is medical in relation to engineering? Do we need to go down or up? Davok.
I would know.
You need to go down one level from where you are now, but it is quite a way above main engineering.
Okay.
Well,
So we're closer to medical than we are to engineering, so we've got to go there anyway.
Off we go.
yeah, let's medical.
Okay. So is the plan now? You can get to medical via the Jeffries tubes much more readily than you could main engineering. With it only being one.
I
That's
thought
probably a good
Jeffries tubes were on the same level,
No, Jeffers tubes run sort of through everything.
but not to engineering.
No. Engineering would be,
Down the lift shaft.
kind of, yeah.
Well, I understand that, but is there a way to get? My whole point with Jeffries tube is not do we bypass the turbo lift. It's can we get to the level above engineering and go via Jeffries tubes into engineering? Similar to how we're doing right now. We have to go down a level into the medical, and we can get there via Jeffries tubes. Why can't we do that on the level above engineering? Is that possible?
Right. So down the main lift shaft to the level above, then along then
Engineer.
into a Jeffries tube.
And then into Jeffries. That was my whole thing. It was not. Can we bypass the turbo lift shaft? It was can we enter engineering from another way other than the main door?
Okay.
Period.
As a plan, Davok, you know that yes, that's absolutely possible. As a security officer, Varren, yeah, well, no. Do you know what? You'll know what you know. Yeah. Yes, it's
Well,
quite possible.
which is nothing for Star Trek. So if there's something you think I would know as a security officer, I feel like it would be really beneficial considering I've seen a total of like 36 episodes of Star Trek.
You'd be surprised if they weren't expecting someone to come from that direction.
We wouldn't need to get in the room if we just need to get some gas in there. So
That was kind of my thinking.
Yeah, we just need to put that somewhere.
Are there traps? Are there traps in Star Trek? Or Star Trek? Are there like proximity mines or like things that they like? I don't like. Obviously, this is. I'm thinking like D&D and
I think a lot more
like
non-lethal.
Pathfinder.
Think a lot more non-lethal.
Okay, so if I open a crack and throw a grenade in there or something that's going to anesthetize them, is that something that I need to worry about? I open the door and there's like a mimic standing there or something along those lines.
Well, you'd hook the gas up to some part of the internal life support system, and it would be routed down to the place that you wanted.
Yeah, we can access the life support and the systems.
And we could probably do that from Jeffrey's tubes above engineering, correct?
We could probably do it from Jeffrey's tubes near engineering.
Okay.
Like running alongside or bits and pieces.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to medical first. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of ways to get in there that isn't walk through the front door.
They will definitely be waiting for you to walk through.
That's what I'm thinking. It was more when I talked about Jeffrey.
If you can think of it, a Romulus thought about it and added extra sneaky.
That's fair.
To Med Bay we go.
Okay.
Okay, and you head your way to the Med Bay via the Jeffries tubes and what have you. And a little bit of winding and what have you. And eventually you arrive just outside the sick bay. The door is already half open. You'll be very glad to hear. And through the door you can see the bodies of Starfleet officers filling all the biobeds. Each one shows signs of injuries sustained in combat, presumably against the Romulans. And the ship's chief medical officer is slumped in his chair with a large wound on his chest. It looks, on just visually scanning, it looks like a disruptor blast to his chest.
Is he still alive?
Very much not.
Disruptor blast to the chest? No, probably not.
I'm going to check him, Mr. Bosh, but I think he's dead. Which might allow you to utter the immortal line.
He's dead, Jim. But not as we know it.
I'll line them up, you knock them down.
or the other way, it's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. I want to just... Is there anyone still alive?
No.
Right.
How many... we knew this going... how many people are on this vessel, assigned to this vessel?
Oberth won't be more than 100 or so.
Yeah.
Even in the bad old days of big crew Starfleet vessels.
I mean, it's a bigger ship than we are, correct?
It's classed as the same scale, but it's probably a little bit more densely packed because of its age.
Well, being a test bed, actually, it's got little more than a skeleton crew.
Actually, crew 80 standard, 5 minimal.
So you reckon maybe 20 or 30?
Yeah, that's what we'd really need for a test bed, isn't it? Just a little more than minimum, but vastly less than maximum.
They've still murdered at least 25 people.
So I want to dig out, canisters of Neurazine.
Okay, obviously this is a sick bay you're not familiar with, so the first thing to do would be to go to the computer system to see the inventory.
What do you think the chances are they've been rerouted all the way to main engineering?
If we say computer, is there any blips?
The computer systems are blank; they are not operating.
So, emergency medical hologram won't turn on because it's a different system.
You're not even sure whether they would have an EMH program.
Yeah, fair.
Well, you could always say it because it should activate if you say it.
Computer, launch a emergency medical hologram.
Nothing happens. Now, I mean, there are a couple of reasons why that might be. One might be the power outages, another might be computer's
I know
been
exactly why it
rerouted.
is. Because it's been rerouted to engineer.
Or they don't have one.
Or they
If
don't have one.
They're not standard.
They're not standard on a ship of this class. To be
Yeah. Okay. Is there any terminals with any signs of life?
None that you can see.
Is there any roll you can make to find it without a computer system?
Well, I'm going to go to where it would be roughly in my med bay.
There's going to be cupboards. Everyone just split up, go to the cupboards and drag everything out. And Mr. Bosh, if we find anything that you recognise, keep an eye on what we're pulling out.
I'm looking for canisters about this big. They'll be shiny. They'll have a nozzle piece at the top and a kind of beige strap along the top end and a darker brown strap along the middle.
I see you're up to date and current with your dangerous goods regulations. That's excellent.
As you say this, Varren is going to say out loud, is like, this is something I very much enjoy about Bosh. He knows his high explosive canisters.
Very useful when Memory Alpha has photos of the episodes on the...
Yep.
And indeed, well, after a bit of searching around, you can indeed find the storage unit. But of course, it is a magnetically sealed, locked storage unit because it contains dangerous chemicals. You don't leave these things lying around, even on a starship. And you would need the computer to unlock them.
Would someone on staff in the medical unit have a key or a scan that could be used to open this?
Handprint from the chief medical officer, who's slumped in his chair?
Exactly.
Yeah, does it have a hand...
retinal scan, probably.
No, you know it. I mean, if it's anything like your own sick bay, you just input a command code.
Yeah.
Or use voice command. I mean, you as a Starfleet CMO, your command code would open them.
That's what I was thinking.
But the computer systems are blank.
Yeah.
Let's just go to engineering to shoot them all. I mean, that's clearly the only answer. It's just
the control panel's off to one side and it's not the control panel on the door itself. It's off to one side normally, isn't it?
There are control panels on the walls of the corridors and...
Yeah, but what I mean, to unlock this door, it's not... The panel isn't on the door, it's on the side.
No, in fact, there is no control panel at all. You would need to go to the nearest computer terminal, input which
turned off.
Which drawer you want to open, basically, and you do it remotely.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But you do know that they are mag sealed.
Yeah, I was going to try and see if we could melt the mag lock, but with the amount of things that are in there, that's not a sensible suggestion.
Wait a second. Phasers have, like, or at least in Star Trek, maybe not in this game, and in Star Trek they have, like, 9 different settings, and one of them can actually be, like, less than stun and, like, melt shit, correct?
Yeah.
Like cutting.
Can we use that? I know it's not part of the bits of the game, but can we try and like use like a plasma cutter to cut around the edges of the door to open the door or the lock? I know it's not part of the
cut the lock out.
Game. Yeah, cut the lock out and just open it.
That's definitely an option. You can use your phaser for that purpose.
And I'm sure that it's going to cut through and it's going to blow up the canisters and we're all going to die or something along the... It's going to monkey's paw in some way. But
can we use...
Not necessarily.
I mean, still, you're not giving me a whole lot of options here. Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to engineering through the front door at this point.
Can we use a momentum to cut the locks off the drawers?
We can certainly use the momentum to find basically the way to get in that.
I mean, I'll use all the momentum to do something. Like, we can just use all of it now to make sure that we don't have to go in through the front door in engineering.
In this game, you can always, in each area, you can always use a momentum to basically ask the straight question, as in, how do we get around this problem? And the GM must provide you an honest answer to it.
You can, and that's what you're wanting to do, is it?
That is what we're doing. That's basically your your Super Starfleet Star Trek knowledge.
Why don't we
going? I remember this from whenever.
Okay.
Why don't we just use the engineering or the momentum to ask? Do we have to go through the front door in engineering to solve this puzzle?
Well, when we get down there, we'll do that. But for the moment, let's try and knock them out.
Yeah.
Without going in with all the guns flying.
Okay, so this one is...
I don't know. I've been trying to get away from that the whole time.
How do you get the gas? Is that...
How do we get to that gas?
How do we open these drawers? Yeah.
Okay.
Safely.
Safely, there are two potential options open to you. One would be to reroute enough power to the computer terminals to try and activate one, but that you feel is going to be very difficult. The other way would be to come in from the other side of the wall, basically breaking through the wall and dismantling half the ship as you go.
But that's also going to run a chance of blowing them up, right?
No, because you'll be removing bulkheads and you're going into the back of the storage unit, if you like, through the bulkheads. So you'd be dismantling the bulkhead as you go rather than cutting into it.
And not all dangerous gases are flammable.
They're not. These are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So of those two options open to you, the computer system, you're pretty certain that would alert the Romulans to where you are, and very quickly. The other way, going in through the back, you believe will take a long time, and possibly might also alert the Romulans to where you are.
With the schematics that I have,
while y'all decide on that, I will be right back.
Would that assist us in finding an efficient way through the back?
With what? Sorry.
The schematics that I've downloaded.
It's using your schematics. You determine that is basically a possibility.
I think probably the faster computer option is probably best. If it does attract the Romulans, well, it's probably not going to attract them all at once, because they're not all going to leave in a great big gaggle.
Yeah.
To come and see us.
Okay, let's try and
we can probably cope with small patrols being sent to find out what's going on. Rather than that might help whittle down the numbers in engineering, perhaps.
Lieutenant Davok,
yeah,
you're pretty good with computer systems. Is there any chance you could rewire some power here?
Let me have a ponder. Can I?
You can attempt it. It will be a reason and engineering task. Difficulty 4.
Okay. So I would need momentum to be able to achieve that. But I have my focus, so I could also get 2 successes.
That's true. So if we've got a momentum to spend to get you an extra dice, let's do that.
You have 2 momentum remaining, so
okay.
If you want to spend one of them, that's fine.
Cool. Just before I attempt this, as I'm aware that we may alert the Romulans to our position, and I'm conscious of gas flying around, I'm going to put on the breathing thing, just in a position where I can quickly put it on.
Oh, okay.
If I may.
So you can for me. To be clear, what you're doing, Davok, is you're trying to get power back to the computer console so that Commander Bosh can then input his command codes to unlock the drawers, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be ready at the codes as soon as power comes in. I will tap the codes in, not waiting around. As soon as it powers up, codes go in.
Okay.
Okay.
And is the difficulty 4, because I'm trying to do this quietly without being detected?
Yes, the difficulty reflects the fact you're trying to avoid the Romulans detecting you. And also, you're not entirely familiar with this type of ship. The consoles, whilst Starfleet consoles are fairly standard, there are differences between different ships. So you're doing the best you can.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
Also, you're not an engineer.
Well, I rolled the first dice I rolled was a 5 and a 9, so that's 2 successes.
Okay.
Need 2 more with only 1 dice. That was not a success. I only got 2.
Determination.
I already used it.
Oh, you have, haven't
use-
you?
yeah.
Oh, so you get 2 successes. So I'm going to give you all a choice here. You can succeed with threat. So you're just coming up to the last part of this, Davok. You're faced with a choice. You can either, you can restore power, but it is definitely going to alert the Romulans. There's no way to gain power without alerting them.
I think a succeed at cost is probably worthwhile.
I think so too. I was just seeing what chat thought.
I'm just like going through my talents to see if there's anything else I can use. What does cautious science do? I can't find the.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Thing.
Box is up for the threat as well, so yeah, I think we succeed at cost.
Okay.
We know that they know we're here, so we can run away.
The console flickers and stutters back into life. Bosh, with your hearing, might just be your imagination, but was that an alarm going off somewhere in the ship?
Here we go.
I mean, you're quite nervous, so
When you
might
say
have imagined
by
it.
your hearing, is that because he has large ears?
Yeah.
Ferengis have exceptional
Yes, actually.
hearing.
All right,
Yeah.
power's on. They probably know we're here.
No, they definitely know we're here, but command code goes in.
Okay, Bosh, give me a computers and medicine task. Difficulty 2.
Stu, question.
Computers and medicine.
Yes.
If, and this is a combat scenario, if someone were on our side to take their action to throw this into the air, somebody else on their side, because it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If someone threw this into the air and that was their turn, then the next person went, like the enemy went, and then it was, let's say, my turn to go. Would I be able to take aim and shoot it out of the air, or would it already have hit the ground?
Oh gosh.
No idea.
How many seconds per turn?
That's
is
a
what I'm
very
saying.
good question. So unfortunately, there's nothing I can find in Star Trek Adventures that determines it. It's same way
It's too
Pathfinder
abstracted
does.
for. It's not. It's abstracted away from like it's every turn is exactly 5 seconds or.
Yeah.
What I would say is what you would want to do in that circumstance to be certain of it is the person throwing the canister up in the air wants to spend a momentum to pass the action onto one of their teammates
Okay.
to ensure that they go straight after.
Got it.
Like, keep the
We have.
the
I think we have one momentum left at this point, so it doesn't even matter right now. But, anyways,
I don't know what the computer attribute is.
It's what am I looking for? Sorry.
Control? Daring, insight, fitness,
What did I
presence, or
say?
reason.
Did I say computers and engineering?
You said computer and medicine.
Or computers and medicine?
Might be control in medicine.
Or
Might be.
maybe reason.
You're standing ready to go, aren't you? I'm going to go daring and medicine.
Okay, so that's a 14. and it's 2 dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a 2 and a
Difficulty
12.
Oh,
2
that's
and
a
a 12.
success.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you have any values that...
Applicable
sorry,
focuses.
Focuses.
Oh, values. I can always find things that people need.
Foci. Sorry.
Medicine and chemicals, emergency medicine, trauma, triage, infectious diseases, and particularly good with Andorians.
No, none of that applies to putting numbers into a computer console. But
They go with
yes,
Andorians.
you get a
That
success.
sounds like a whole
and,
extra episode on its own, Bosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we do a flashback into where his Andorian girlfriend was there?
The computer accepts your command code, and you hear a hiss as a drawer slides out behind you.
$5. There's not the chemicals you need in there.
Yeah, I want to take out. How many canisters of Neurazine are there?
There are. Do you know what? I'm going to roll a dice for that. 4 canisters.
Perfect. Well, these 3 should be enough to take the entire rest to stop the whole of the ship, and I'll pick up the 4.
So you think 3 is enough to 3 would be enough to flood engineering, do you, Mr. Bosh?
3 would be enough to flood the entire ship, sir.
Oh, okay. I don't want to put us to sleep as well, but excellent. Well done for finding that and some extra spares too. You really can find what people want.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else in that drawer that pick up small pieces?
Oh, one moment.
Something of value.
Basically, loot medbay, yeah?
Well, you never know what else we might need.
And like any adventure, pick up everything as long as you've got the bag of holding.
Okay. So anyway, back to the game then. So what was the plan then?
So
We've got the gas. Let's get it into engineering.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do
Move
it.
sharpish.
Oh,
you-
yeah, sorry, you were asking Bosh about other chemicals, was that
Oh,
right?
yeah,
yes.
Berenger, you was about to loot someone else's medbay.
yeah, I was going to take anything else in that drawer that I could carry subtly.
Yeah.
In terms of the size of the canisters, no, not subtly.
Is there anything in
yeah, I
there
was gonna-
that we should take not subtly?
Are there any? Well, is there? Because quite often there's medkit bags in sickbay for that get handed out. I want to take one of those and put any other bits of supplies. Anything from any of the open kind of drawers. You know the sort of the rucksacky things they give out for emergencies.
Yes. So I'm making a bit of an assumption that you've brought a med kit with you, an emergency med kit with you. Certainly, you can easily restock your own. You can get a second med kit and give that to Davok if you want.
Yes, I'll do that, and I'll also any other kind of medium-sized canisters of anything that's.
Bosh.
Given my knowledge of medicals and medicine and chemicals, anything with a particularly high value, I just want to take some extras of into the bag. Obviously, the rest of the team won't know exactly what they are. They just looks like I'm restocking the med kit.
Okay, I understand. I'm going to disappoint Bosh a little bit here because there isn't really anything of value. This is not
Street
a particularly well stocked med bay.
Okay.
It's
So-
kind of a bit sparse to go along with the sparse crew.
To close the, is there anything that would be combustible but not dangerous gas wise in there? Something to cause a distraction.
I don't need to look this up. Combustible but not dangerous? No, such a thing does not exist.
You know what I mean, Stu. Combustible, but not gases that's going to kill people. Something that would do an explosion, shrapnel might hurt people, but something that once exploded would not knock people out or cause heart attacks or, like, I don't know, tentacles to spread from somebody else if they were exposed to a thing. Like, not the Star Trek thing. Is there a grenade in there? Is all I'm saying.
In the med bay.
So,
I'm asking Bosh.
Oh, okay.
I mean, would he know? Like, it's.
Well, what I can tell you is, as a security officer, what you would know is that actually the chemical is usually the propellant for the explosive, and the casing, the shrapnel, is what does the most damage anyway. And
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the chemical itself hurting people. I'm worried if I throw something in there and I shoot something. I'm not worried about the shrapnel. That's going to hurt people. That's what I want.
And potentially
the chemical is
what you want to make sure is that something that isn't poisonous when it explodes.
I don't care.
While you're carrying it to the exploding point.
Exactly. The shrapnel is what I'm counting on. I want to make sure that the gas that's left over isn't going to kill us.
Okay. Yeah, you reckon you can find 2 canisters like that, Bosh?
Bosh, like,
found 2 canisters of safe explodium.
What I'm saying though, Usher, is as a security officer, you would know that it would be impossible to do that non-lethal. It basically, if you're doing that, you are trying to kill them. Just so you know.
Stu, I'm fully aware of that, and I'm happy to tell Wraal this as I'm asking this question to Bosh. And Commander,
do you want to take these 2 vials, or these 2 canisters of something fairly explosive with you, Mr. Varren?
On the off chance that knocking them out doesn't work, or we encounter another one of the shutdown systems to insert a canister into the wall to knock them out, we can't do it because it's been rerouted to main engineering. This is a worst case scenario bag, and I would like to have something that we could use to cover our escape.
I will allow that. Take them with you.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that my hyper spray has kelatane in it, then, please.
Understood.
Bosh,
What the fuck is kelatane?
Kelatane treats burns.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Bosh, you said you found 4 canisters. You don't think that you'll need all 4 for our trip to engineering?
No.
We've just signalled our location here. May I suggest that we leave one on a slow release to fill the room out after we leave, because they're going to come here. That might help us.
Good thinking.
You sure Davok's not got some Vulcan in him? That's really
Romulan in him, sir.
some residual Vulcan. It sounds like he's mainly Romulan.
It's a logical choice.
If we've learned anything, the logical choice right now is that we are in a fight for our lives, less than a fight for like what we're going to do. We are completely outnumbered, and we definitely.
So as we back out of the way we're going, I'm going to unleash the canister and just roll it across so it
hide it under a body.
Yeah. Actually, while you're going, I'm going to take one of the breathing things, put that on, turn it on full, not slow release, fully open it up, and then get out.
We're all going to leave before he does this.
You're all out before I do that.
We're all out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you gone out the main door or via the Jeffries tubes, as you seem to enjoy those so much?
What's the quickest way back to we need to get to the turbo lift, don't we? So
I think it's or was it Jeffries tube, turbo lift, and then down again?
Yeah, Jeffries tube.
Jeffries tube.
No. Wait. Hold up. If we're stuck in a Jeffries tube, where we're moving slowly and we're doing all that shit where you have to go through there slowly, if you're releasing a bunch of gas and that we're going out the main door where you can run away from the gas completely, because Stu's gonna fuck us if we go through the Jeffries tube because it slows us down.
I mean, the alarms have gone off. They know we're here,
and that's fine. And we pull out phasers and we go to war again. But it's
okay.
If we go through the Jeffries tube, we're gonna get knocked out.
We are moving
Okay.
slowly with the gas behind us. Yes, agreed. Right, out through the door, phasers out, set to stun,
Got it.
eyes
I'll
open,
go first.
everybody.
I'll go
So they
first.
know we're here.
Okay. And you do so.
Just thinking, like, worst case scenario, we're stuck in a Jeffries tube and, like, a pipe falls down and then we all suffocate to death.
I mean, these ships are built by Starfleet. They're good.
They're not good. None of the systems connect to each other.
Nothing
And
works on
apparently,
this
you can. Apparently, you
It's
can
Romulan's
reroute.
fault.
We're stuck in a
Apparently-
shipping crate floating in space.
Apparently, you can reroute
Look at his
everything
lights.
to engineering, and then nothing works on the ship, and there's no way to get out without blowing yourselves up. So, absolutely, main hallway, most room.
Right. And yeah, you head out into the main hallway. So as you approach the turbo lift, you know you're going down the turbo lift.
Mhm.
What order would you like to go?
I think Varren out the front, then myself. Then we'll have. Hang on. I'm putting the small paper models in the sequence. So I can remember.
Yep. I'm doing something similar right here.
So it's Varren first, then me down the ladder. Next of all, we'll have. We're going to have Davok after me. Actually, belay that. Derek, you stick with me.
Mhm.
Davok, stick with Derek.
Hmm.
Bosh, you bring up the rear.
So,
Someone who's good with the phaser at the back is a very, very good idea.
and also that I'm the last one in medbay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you've all left Medbay now anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming you were in the main corridor. Okay, so I'm going to need a thing here. So what I need first of all, Varren, I need a control and
Yeah.
fitness task with a difficulty 1.
Okay. Let me pull up my
Those
shit.
are two similar attributes, so there need to be a control or fitness with something else.
Oh, sorry, let me double check.
So maybe either control or fitness with a discipline.
I mean, it definitely says a control and fitness.
Maybe it's
What's
just
it-
meant to be
I mean,
easy.
if that's the case, then I just need to roll below a 20, which.
Unless
Yeah,
you roll 20 and it's like a critical fail.
I mean, we can. I'll roll that.
Well, yeah, successes gain momentum.
Yeah,
Is control and fitness really?
yeah,
Let's go with that.
what it says.
It's an 8 and a 9, so that's 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, fine. You start climbing down the ladder nicely.
Get some momentum.
Raal, give me a control and fitness. Raal.
Okay. That's a 15 and a 16 for a target of 18, so another 2 successes.
Nice.
Okay. So
Chucky egging down this ladder behind
Does
him.
Gain
2
1.
successes give us momentum, or is it only 1 that would give us momentum?
No, because it's difficulty 1. You need 1 success to complete it. So any additional successes give you a momentum. Derek
Gotcha.
is going to attempt this next.
If he falls on me, I'll break it.
What am I saying again?
Control and
Fitness
fitness.
and
Under my hand. Oh.
control and fitness, isn't it? Control and fitness. Okay. Oh, he gets 1 success.
Comes very, very close to standing on my hand on the ladder. I just give him a look.
Indeed. Who's up next? Davok.
2 successes, one of them's a 1.
Oh, that's 3 successes.
So that's 3 successes. Nice.
Nice.
You get 2
3
momentum
successes.
there. You're stacking your momentum back up again, by the way.
Yeah. All this, I feel like we've got like a montage of us going down the stairs, like loads of cuts.
Like Tears for Fears or something like that coming out.
Like, oh, look at us do this ladder. We're doing really well.
Breakfast Club.
Exactly it.
Come on, Bosh, don't mess it up.
Let's see how the
'Cause they're all
last one
underneath
does,
you.
Bosh.
Shell. Well.
Oh no!
I needed a 16, and I got an 18 and a 19.
Oh no!
Okay.
You failed.
So this is climbing
Varren's
down the
gonna hold
ladder.
his hand out and be like, no!
Remember, you can succeed
At cost.
At cost.
Well, he has a point of determination that he can use.
Oh
To
yes.
guarantee
Oh.
2 successes.
I will use that determination.
What value are you?
Oh, indefatigable confidence.
I can do these steps.
Even though you're rubbish at climbing ladders, you've got this.
I mean, it may not work, but it was worth a good try.
I'm
Never seen a ladder in his life, but he's quite happy that he knows how to climb a ladder.
okay. So yes. Yes, you succeed with that. Am I right in thinking, Ed? Normally, I'm saying it's fine this time, but normally you'd need to call that your determination beforehand. Is that right?
Normally, yeah. Well, you'd build your dice pool, so you'd say, "I will spend a point of determination to add in the dice."
Then maybe not. That's my fault. I was just thinking.
No. It's a good, and we're all sort of learning it. But so yes, I mean, climbing down the ladder is such a basic thing that.
But Bosh can't do it.
I'm happy on this.
Comedy moment in the
He
episode.
can't heal. He can't climb. He can't...
On this occasion.
I mean, Ferengis aren't the most sporty, and the arms aren't the longest to kind of...
It would be the comedy moment in the episode, isn't it? When he'd complain about he'd never done anything like gym at the academy or something.
he was able to buy his way out of it. He
paid someone else to
had
do
great
it.
bottles of wine for the gym teacher.
So eventually, Varren, you get down the turbo shaft, get to the door of main engineering, which is closed at the moment, and that's where we're going to leave it for this evening.
Oh, a door.
Not another one.
Beaten again by a door.
Oh,
wonderful.
man, I have 2 weeks to figure out how I'm going to save this.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for coming and playing.